What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into episode 95, everybody. I am your host, SleezBall. Today is the start of the Week 7 content. This is going to be my top 10 waiver wire players heading into Week 7. I hope you guys got those Week 6 dubs, man. It was a high-flying scoring week, man. Now, for these 10 guys coming up, this is based for 12-plus man competitive leagues. So you're not going to see players like Tyrone Tracy on here, right? Because it shouldn't be on your waiver wire in a competitive league. But if you guys have questions about other players or, you know, people that are available on your wire in 10, 8-man leagues, whatever it is, drop them in the comments. I will answer all the questions you guys drop in there. Before we dive into it, guys, make sure you smash that like, hit that subscription button, turn that bell on so you know when I'm live. It helps me out a ton. I'm trying to bring you guys the best fantasy football content weekly to help you win that ultimate goal of the championship. I also will be joined by 3 amazing guests tonight. I will have Big Draft Energy, Bayou Bengal FN, and NFL DFS picks. 3 amazing minds. We're going to break down, recap what we talked about in Week 6, and we're going to look into Week 7 for Monday Night Football, what we like, pick'ems, over, under, start, sits, everything. Hope to see you guys in the show, man, and let's dive into it. The first player I want to talk about for the waiver wire that you should be picking up this week is Drake May, the rookie. The time was now. If you want to check my video from last week, I said he's one of my sleeper starts that's going to outperform quarterbacks, and goddamn did he do it. 21.52 points, threw for 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, also threw 2 picks in his first game. But what you have to love even more is he rushed for 32 yards, has 50 yards rushing, or 38 yards, has 50 yards rushing on the season. Now, I know this is the game to play him, right, guys? This is the game versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville's defense ranks 31st versus the wide receiver. They give up 44.2 points per game at the wide receiver position. And they're also very bad versus the quarterback. Dead straight last in the NFL versus the quarterback this year, giving up 24 points per game. So you have an opportunity of a 20-plus play here with Drake May. They're 28th in the red zone. They allow 286.7 pass yards per game. That is second worst. Now, on the Drake May side, you have Pop Douglas popping off, who I'll get to on my waiver wire video here as well, too. You have Ramondre Stevenson back. I told you guys Antonio Gibson was going to be terrible. Jalen Polk has been nothing. I told you to never play Jalen Polk. I want to see Javon Baker get out there with Pop Douglas, and this offense will look so much better. But this is kind of a 1-week rental here, guys. So spend 15, maybe 20% FAAB if you have quarterback problems, because then you have the New York Jets, Tennessee Titans, and Chicago Bears. 3 top pass defenses coming up after this week. So don't go crazy for the season long. Play it for a 1-week play. And if you can, you know, say you're not in the FAAB league, you're like waiver 6 or 7 or something like that, that would be the value where I would use it for. I wouldn't use it as like a top 3 pick or a top 2 or a top 1. I'd save that for running back value because that's more important. But Drake May is an absolute smash play this week versus Jacksonville, guys. Second player I want to talk about, you should grab off the waiver wire here, is the rookie Spencer Rattler, who got his first start in his NFL debut versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home on Sunday yesterday. So he only dropped 13.42 points in the game. He passed for 243 yards, had 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Got to like that he also rushed for 27 yards. That's what you like in fantasy football. Now, what you have to look at here is they also lost Chris Olave in the first quarter due to a concussion on like the second drive, which really hurt fantasy football. So he's down his main guy and still put up decent enough numbers. I know they got blown out. It is his first start. But when you're looking ahead here, you get Denver on a short week right here, right? And Denver will be without Patrick Surtain as well. So I know you might not have Chris Olave too, which looks like short weeks. They're both going to be out with concussions. But when you're looking at this game, Denver is reeling. Their defense was top-notch. Now it's kind of falling apart. I know that you could look at it like Tampa Bay also returned touchdowns versus Saints as well. Like Denver defense could be a good play. So I'm not saying they're not, going to be a good play this week. I'm just saying it's a better matchup for him without their superstar corner out there. Alvin Kamara is going to feast in this game. Spencer Rattler is going to be I'm going to put him like 23, 25 QB range this week. But I liked what I saw. I mean, I know it was his first start. I'm not saying spend a ton of FAAB, maybe 5 to 10%, someone to hold on to here. Because if they keep losing, I mean, you're going to have a starting quarterback here, especially if you're in super flex league, something like that, and he was on your waiver wire. In super flex, I'm spending a lot, or dynasty, I'm spending a lot because he's going to be there all year long, I think, after this. Heading into running backs here, guys, the third player I want to talk about off the waiver wire is going to be Isaac Guerendo of the 49ers, the rookie. Now, what you have to do here is, I know this is going to be a tough situation, right? The 49ers game is going to be Sunday. the waiver wire is coming up. Jordan Mason had the AC joint sprain. The update is day to day, and it is a big game versus the Chiefs. And you have CMC also ramping up. You see him jogging around and doing his leg stuff at practice as well here too. So as a rental, like 1 week play here with Gendo, if you're still waiting on Jordan Mason, so don't spend the house on this. If you own Jordan Mason, I would spend more, right? About 15, maybe 20%. If I don't, 5 to 10% range. This is more of a dart throw because the injury update we do not know with Jordan Mason. So if Jordan Mason is out there, Garendo's probably going to see 15, 20% snaps. But if Jordan Mason can't go because of the AC joint, then Isaac Gendo is a massive hit. So it's kind of a money ball play here, either way you look at it. And if you looked at him last week, man, he busted that long rushing touchdown where he could have scored, but he kneeled down to win the game. Smart play there, but bad for best ball players in fantasy football if you threw him into your lineup as a dart throw. But this one is a tempered expectation play from me here. But, I mean, with Wednesday happening early here, right, it's tough to decide because we're not going to know. So keep in mind, pay attention to the updates. Hopefully we get something before waiver wire day, because this is an early video on Monday night. But man, if the update hits, it's pure gold. If it doesn't, you wasted a lot of money here. Number 4, sticking with running backs here, the biggest outlier in NFL history kind of to me happened with Shaa Tucker this week, the running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So he played 38% of the snaps, guys, had 14 carries for 136 yards, a 9.71 yards per carry average. Unbelievable. 1 touchdown. Then he takes 3 catches for 56 yards at 16.67 yards per catch for another touchdown. And Bucky Irving was the starting running back. So this game was a blowout. He got to play more. Don't go crazy on the waiver wire. Rachaad White was also doubtful. He should probably be back next week. When you're doubtful, it doesn't mean you're out for that long. So should be back next week. But we got to talk about this guy because of what he did. So I'm not going super high crazy FAAB. Don't do that unless you're in like a very, very deep dynasty league and he's available on your waiver wire there. That'd be the only way I would do it. He's not going to be the guy. He's not going to see this kind of work. But if you need that running back help, I'd go 3 to 5% on him. And you never know. Maybe Rachaad White is out another game. Maybe they try and ship him off trade piece. You never know what's going on there. Could be opportunities like that, but I'm not willing to go crazy on a guy that had a insanely outlier game with a running back hurt in a blowout game. So don't go absolutely crazy, but I'm going to put him up here because, damn, I got to give him kudos for the game he had. It was absolutely phenomenal. If you played him in DFS, or if you played him in Pick'ems, kudos to you, because I did not see any of this coming, and he absolutely destroyed in week 6 of fantasy football. 6th player I got to talk about here for the waiver wire, and this one, sorry guys, I jumped back to quarterback. I forgot about this one when I was looking through my research here. It's going to be Tua Taga. So currently QB 34, 483 pass yards, 2 TDs, 3 picks, and 28 rush yards. Hopefully we don't see any more of those rushing yards because, man, that concussion hit he took was very, very, I don't want to say dumb, but man, it was just awful to watch. Shouldn't have done it. Could have slid. Could have saved the season he's having right now. Now, why I put him on here is because even in some of my 12-man leagues, and most of my leagues are very competitive that I play in, he is on the waiver wire, guys. The update is IR to come back week 8. They had a bye this week. Now, the update is it's not official week 8, but they say that he is going to play again this year. The update just dropped today across all platforms. Now, if he comes back week 8, guys, you have to look at this schedule ahead and why every Dolphin player is a bye if Tua is back, right? The Indianapolis Colts this week, one of the worst defenses. Arizona Cardinals, one of the worst defenses. Buffalo Bills, tough defense versus the pass, very bad versus the run. LA Rams, bad defense. Vegas, bad defense. Patriots, bad defense. Green Bay, bad defense. Jets, good. Texans, good. Niners, good. Playoff schedule gets tough, but he could guide you in there, guys. And if you don't have a quarterback or you're struggling right now, this is a very, very good stash waiver wire pickup right now to me that I would spend maybe 15 to 20% on, because Tua gives you a actual starting quarterback value of points. And if he's on your waiver wire right now, which I assume he is, and possibly even in some 10-man leagues, but I wouldn't, go high for a 10-man league because everyone's stacked. But in a 12-man league, I am willing to even spend like a top 5 waiver move to get him if I'm struggling at QB, and about 15 to 20%, because when he comes back, the schedule is pure gold. The 6th player we're going to talk about off the waiver wire is Pop Dizzle D Demario Douglas, and you will not find anyone on planet Earth happier than me to see him finally get the breakout with Drake May, because this man is talented, and let me show you how much I believe in this man. This is my Drafters $1,000,003 for the $1,000,000 best ball percentages player exposures. Look at the top, boys. 53 on $800 worth of Pop Dizzle D. I am all in on this guy. You can see at the bottom Javon Baker, who I want to talk about here in a sec. But so moved himself into a top 50 wide receiver in one game, popped off last week, 21 points, had 11 points before that as well. He's also just massive amount of targets, guys. 9 and 9 back-to-back. This is the volume you want as a wide receiver. You see the 62% snap share. I expect that to go up. They have to know this is their best wide receiver. They have to know the other wide receivers are duds. This is why I'm talking about Javon Baker heading in here. And someone I'm looking at very, very deep, and I'm not going to put it in this waiver wire video because I was such a huge fan of him. But you get Pop Douglas in this game versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, guys, versus the wide receiver. The Jacksonville Jaguars are ranked 31st, second to last, 44.2 points, only 0.5 points behind the Minnesota Vikings, who are giving up the most points to the wide receiver position. They give up 192 yards to the wide receiver position. This is an absolute, not just a waiver wire play this week. This is a yearly pickup right here. I'm willing to spend 50 to 40, let's say 40 to 50% to pick up Pop D because they're going to be playing from behind in most games, almost every single game they're in. And this is going to be volume galore. Volume is king in fantasy football, and Pop Dizzle Douglas is a massive, massive buy target right now. I'll do that in the buy low video as well. And you should be getting this guy off your waiver wire if he's there. And he is a wide receiver 2, startable wide receiver this week in the matchup that he has ahead. The 7th player we got to talk about off the waiver wire is Michael Wilson of the Arizona Cardinals, and the emergence is coming, guys. You can see it right here. So use Pop Douglas in the last video for an example here. Michael Wilson is playing 95% of the snaps last week. I know that Marvin Harrison went down with the concussion, which is why I like him as a massive rental pickup this week. But looking backwards, right, if I look at Pop Douglas, he's still in the 60% range. Michael Wilson has been 72, 85, 90, 80% range of snap share. Now he's going to be the full 100% guy. You get the Chargers on Monday night. I know it's not a great matchup, but it's definitely volume is king plug and play here. So last week he got 4 receptions, 4 targets, 2 receptions, 21 yards, found the end zone again for the second time. He's a big body down there. It will be him and Trey McBride. I'm almost positive that, again, I don't know that Marvin Harrison will be out, but if you look at the concussion history this year, no one has played the next game after. So even when it happened on Thursday for Neighbors, he's still out for 2 weeks. So pretty much you're going to have Marvin Harrison most likely, in my opinion, again, I'm not a doctor or nothing, but 80% out. And you're going to get Michael Wilson on Monday night with full volume at home in the game. I like this as a smash flex play this week. I mean, you could spend, it is a rental, so don't go crazy. I'd say 15 to 20% possibly if you need a flex play. Again, could be, he's still seeing decent low-end flex play either way, so you could spend a little more if you wanted to own a wide receiver for the rest of the way, because he is emerging. But again, don't go wild because it's more of a 1-week rental, because Marvin Harrison will be back probably within the next 2 weeks here with the concussion. The 8th player we got to talk about is Romeo Dubs or Dubs, or however you say his name, to pick up off the waiver wire here. So after his little bitch fit last week where he got benched by the team for week 6 for I'm not getting enough targets, I'm not getting enough playing time, I'm not getting my catches, which is something I wouldn't want in my locker room. They just bring him back out and give him 4 targets, 3 receptions, 49 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, these numbers are aberrations, guys. Dontavian Wicks did get hurt. He's day-to-day. The volume target share is going to be all over the place for the Green Bay Packers all year long. I mean, you have just too many weapons. You have Jaden Reed, Christian Watson look good in his game back. Romeo Dobbs look good in his game back. Jaden Reed finds the end zone. Tucker Kraft has a low day. I called Tucker Kraft having a low day last week, by the way. But don't go crazy and spend anywhere even over 5% for him. Unless, if you look at it like you're like waiver position 6 or 7 or something like that in your league, I would, take a stab here if I needed a flex play, if I'm hurt by injuries or buys and depleting me and stuff like that. But I know he popped off this week, so we have to talk about him, but I'm not super high on picking him up or ever even really starting him unless it's desperation, because there's just too many mouths to feed. You don't know how it's going to go in Green Bay, but he could always hit a spike week like this. So, I mean, it is a spike week freak play, but I don't like it as like season long or pick him up for tons of money and redraft or anything like that. Moving over to tight end here, guys, and it's time to start saying that Cole Kmet is an official tight end that you can start weekly. I know it's crazy to me, but look at the schedule that they have coming ahead. They have a bye heading this week, but he's on a lot of waiver wires in my 12-man leagues right now as well. So last week played 86% of the snaps, week before that 84, week before that 90, week before that 81. So he's out there all the time. He is becoming Caleb Williams' security blanket 100%. And all it took is 2 pop-off games in his season. So Without these two pop-off games, look at it. He has 1 point, 6 points, 6 points, 8 points. So decent floor, not great, not bad. Then he has two pop-off games, and all of a sudden he's tight end 3 because that's how bad the tight end position has been, guys. So he has 29 targets on the season. If you look at that, you're going through a 5-game sample there. So you're averaging about you're averaging about 6 targets per game here at this rate. That's not bad. That's not, great. Still decent enough tight end to start weekly. Now, 289 yards in the season, very high for the tight end. 3 touchdowns, also very high for the tight end. They get a bye here. So most people might not even be looking to add him because some people don't even pay attention to the players that aren't projected to score that week on their waiver wire. So this could be another secret play here for you when you're looking at Cole Kmet. And guys, look at the schedule ahead here. Washington, Arizona, New England, Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit. All those teams, you're going to see Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit and think that they're a playoff caliber team, but they struggle versus the pass and the tight end. And Cole Kmet is going to be a guy that I'm willing to spend 30% FAAB on because the tight end position is an absolute nightmare right now. And the chemistry is growing with him and Caleb Williams. The schedule is beautiful. He is going to be a startable tight end down the stretch the rest of the way. And I wouldn't even question putting him in my lineup anymore. And I did not think this at the beginning of the season. So I was very, very wrong on Cole Kmet. It looks like I was right coming out, but the chemistry is clicking. And now I got to bite the bullet here. He looks like a startable tight end. He looks very good. And I'm willing to spend 30% FAAB on and possibly a 5 to 6 situational waiver, depending on how your league goes with what waiver priority you have. Number 10, guys, last but not least, that you should be grabbing off the waiver wire is K. Dawson, who is becoming an actual solid floor tight end play weekly, which is crazy to say. So he played 81% of the snaps last week, which is an outlier for his snaps, which is crazy to say, guys. They blew him out by so many points that he missed snaps. Week before that, 100%, never came off the field. Week before that, 95, 91, 100%. This guy is the highest snap rate tight end in the NFL. He is always out there blocking, pass work, everything, which is what you want as a tight end. So currently tight end 15 has 31 targets, 19 receptions, 163 yards. Finally found the end zone last week. So look at this. Look at his last 4 games here, guys. 9.7, 11.2, 7.4, 9.5. That is what you want from a tight end position that is absolutely terrible this season to deal with. Now, the amazing upside thing you get right here, why I even like starting him this week as a tight end. You get the Baltimore Ravens. They rank 28th versus the tight end, giving up 13.4 points per game. They do rank 10th in the red zone. Oh, never mind. Yeah, they rank 10th in the red zone versus the tight end, giving up 1.1. And they give up 72.7 yards, which is second worst in the NFL to the tight end position. You are going to have a shootout game here on Monday Night Football. You get the last laugh. It's going to be very high scoring. Baker Mayfield is dialed in like no other this year. And I love K. Dawson, not only as a waiver wire pickup, which I would spend 15 to 20% on because I can start him the rest of the season, but I'm willing to start him this week. So possibly 20, 25% if you need a startable tight end this week. I love K. Dawson this week. He's going to be in a ton of my other videos. That is the end of episode 95. Everybody, thanks for rocking with me in this video today. This is the start of the week 7 content. It is going to be pouring out here. I'm going to have my buy lows, sell highs coming, all my rankings, all my stardom sit-ems. My goal is to get you all of this before Thursday night kickoff as a content creator so you can have all my work done heading into the week, knowing who you need to start or sit, guys. Remember, before we head out, guys, smash that like, smash that subscription, turn that bell on. We will be live tonight recapping where we were right, where we were wrong once again, and looking into Monday Night Football, what we like tonight, pick 'em, spreads. If you have questions about who to start tonight as well, I will have an amazing panel of guests on tonight. And always, guys, if you can't make the live shows, always drop any comments you have in there. Another goal of mine as a content creator is to get every single comment a response. That is something I am trying to implore myself to do for you guys to help you get that ultimate goal of a championship this year, guys. And that's it for me, man. I'll see you guys in the next video. SleezBall out.